Welcome back to Access Anime. I'm Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Blast of Tempest Episode 9. Now, if you remember from last episode, we finally see Salmon face to face with Yoshino and Muoharo, so it's kind of interesting where it's going. But we see Salmon pull out, looks like Hokaze's skeleton from a barrel, which was originally on the island that Hokage was originally stranded on. So I'm scratching myself on the head, and I'm wondering, what? But then it was a little more self-explained. The present Hokage is dead. It's been 2 years, and the one that's on the communicator is also Hokage, but she's from the past 2 years ago, because Salmon does ask Hokage, what year is it, and we find out there's a 2-year difference. But Hokage can only recall being on the island for 4 months, so it's very confusing. So she's in the past, in a different dimension per se. At least that's what we're being told in this episode, as well as past episode, of course. And in the past episode, it was kind of you're drawn to the conclusion that she's talking from the past through a different communicator. It's the communicator from the future, and she's got the communicator from the past. So the talisman, that communicator she's using now, is from the past, and the one that Muohara is using is from the future. So they're two different communicators. Yet again, they're also one and the same. So that's very confusing, but that's where we're at there. At least we know something. They threw us a bone, okay? We know something now. But moving on, we do find out the government is attacking the Kusarabi clan, or at least going after them, and they're trying to fire through the barrier, and the object is once the barrier's down, they can go inside, but they're having no luck because that barrier is pretty damn strong. That's all I can say. Now, before Salmon ran off to take out Yoshino and Muohara, or at least confront them, he left Tatsu May in charge. And we really don't know a lot about Tatsu May or his background other than he's a Kusarabi clan member. So he's now in charge of defending the home front. He's defending it because if you remember correctly, the Kusarabi clan cannot use offensive magic, only defensive. Now he tells Natsumori, thank God we finally have Natsumori back, to go on the offensive to take out these tanks and turn them into ash. And again, that's where the episode ends. Last episode anyways. But I will point out one little catch. We see Yoshimaru in the background, and you're wondering, well, I said Yoshimaru, his name is Hoshimaru, and you're wondering, what's he doing looking at this battle from a distance? He's seeing, the government attack the Kusarabi clan's barriers, but he's not doing anything. So I'm very curious, what's his role? We know he's siding with Hokage, but that's it. But again, that was last episode, and this is a new episode, so let's dive right in. Again, I'll keep my final thoughts and my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right in. Now, the opening scene is almost exactly where we left off, just a little more faster paced. We see the government, and they are attacking the hell out of this barrier, but they're really getting nowhere anytime fast anyways. Now we do see Natsumori, so this was a plus. We see him running out, has a spear in hand, and he's wearing that trench coat and the hat. It looks amazing in my opinion. It's like one guy against the whole damn government. Go for it, man. Now he's preparing to attack a tank, but I should point out he can only use defensive magic, so I'm not sure what kind of damage he can make. I'm just putting that out there. If you can't use offensive magic and your clan's dedicated to defensive magic, that puts you in an awkward position. You can defend yourself, but you can't attack. So I'm not sure why he was sent to the front if he can't really do anything. But moving on, we do see Muohara in the next scene. Now he's being very optimistic about everything, which is kind of sad. But at the same time, he has that piss-ass attitude. He really doesn't give a shit. Literally, he does not. He doesn't take anything for granted, but he's always on his toes with some type of bullshit plan to, do. Now, again, he's very optimistic despite what Salmon has been telling him. And Salmon keeps nagging him, telling him to give him his talisman, that, now that you know the truth, that it's hopeless that Hokage can't come back, or at least in this case that she's dead, and that you're talking to her in the past, what can she do? What are you going to do? I mean, literally, what can you do? So he's just being very optimistic. Now we are taken to a different scene, back to Natsumori. We finally get to see Natsumori yet again, and he's literally charging the tanks with his spear. And I'm like, I do not know how this is going to go. I really don't. I'm drawing a blank on what this guy can fully freaking do. But we see him touching the tank just before his shield's about to go off, or should I say his barrier. And he's doing a little countdown on how close he is to, like, how many feet he is away from the tank. And before you know it, his shield is slightly damaged and he's bleeding on the face. So I thought, oh, he's done. No. He touches the tank and he sacrifices it. He sacrifices one tank and it just vanishes. The people inside are okay, but this giant weapon, this green tank, is gone. And that's what we're left with. We're gone to a different scene now where we see Tatsu May. He's trying to self-explain the whole reason behind all this of what Natsumori is actually doing. But again, he's just talking to himself, in his head. He's not really talking to anyone in Pacific. Now, he does point out, apparently the Kasarabi clan, they can't use offensive magic. Now, that's apparent. But by touching a weapon, if Natsumori actually touches a weapon, and by offering it to the Tree of Genesis, he can actually turn everything to ash. He can turn the tank within a certain amount of seconds into ash. So technically, it's kind of defensive magic, but it's not. But by making an offering to this tree, the Tree of Genesis, you can instantly make the tank into ash. So again, that appears to be like a one-sided way of magic, to be honest. But again, sorry, I digress. Moving on. We also find he can use the power, also making this offering. I'm just putting this out there, because as well as him making this offering for the tank once he touches it, since it's a weapon, he also gets his shield back up. It's been recharged. So now the government can't shoot him or anything. He's got his shield back. So he got rid of a tank in the process, and his shield's been re-energized. And, the government already thought they had him by the balls, literally, because he was about to die. Not so much. You're kind of screwed now, government. So that really didn't work out for them. But moving on, we are taken to a different scene. Now we do see Yoshino. I was a little confused on what was going through this guy's mind in general. He's given up on everything, literally. He's going to throw out the towel. He's throwing his towel in. He's done. He literally was listening to Salmon. He's convinced, I'm done. And just when he was about to have his talisman taken out and he was about to hand him over, Muohara, dear God, why are you smiling? You see a little creepy smile on Muohara's face. He's thinking about something. He's got something on his mind. And you see him throw away Hokaze's communicator. Just throws it away in the water. I'm like, oh God, dear God, what's going to happen? Is like the gloves come off or something? Oh yes, you damn straight. This is probably one of the most amazing parts. We see Muohara. He aims his gun, that machine gun, which is also the talisman, which is why Salmon's very scared right now, at Salmon directly. I'm like, oh, now it's on like Donkey Kong, motherfucker, Now it is on. So you see, again, Muohara, he's aiming his machine gun at Salmon, and he's not taking any crap from this guy. He literally is not. And he doesn't give a damn. That's all I can say. He doesn't care. He wants to know about, here's the build-up. I'm saying it really slow for this reason. He wants to know who killed his sister. Who took out his sister? He knows it's someone from the Kasarabi clan. That's why he's willing to make a deal, He's willing to deal with Salmon. And Salmon knows Muohara is not bluffing. Because if he was willing to throw away Hokaze's help, just like that, in a second, what's stopping him from pulling that, firing the gun just to take out one guy, just to get to his sister, to find out who killed his sister, Nothing. He'll do it in a heartbeat. He doesn't give a damn. But moving on past that, it gets more interesting. Now, Salmon, I did not see this coming. Even more than I didn't see Muohara pulling a gun on Salmon, I didn't see Salmon actually bending down, literally bending over to take it. He doesn't apologize, but he grants Muohara's wish. Because he actually starts talking to Muohara. He's like, what's your wish? I'll grant it. And that's what Muohara wanted to hear. He's like, I want to find the killer of my sister. He's like, that's all? Really? That's all you wanted to know? Oh, fine, we can do it, man. I'll be back later. We'll just, use my magic, whatnot. He's like, no. Hokage already told me. He already did all the filtering out of all this crap. It's someone in your clan. Plain and simple, it is someone in the Kasarabi clan. And he's like, wait, now you're seeing a different side of Salmon. He's like, what? You're saying one of my members, one of the Kasarabi clan members, did something such as murder? Oh, no. So now he's willing to sell out one of his own clan members just to please Salmon. Well, just so he can please Musaharu in general. So I thought this was very, very interesting. So the tables turned, then they turned again. I'm so confused, but at the same time, I'm keeping up to date on what's happening. I understand where it's going, but I'm just wondering, there's so many people that look like they can backstab you, it's kind of scary right now. Like, whose side is... what side are you on? But again, Salmon grants Muohara's wish to find, the killer of his sister, which is part of the Kasarabi clan. So he calls up, I always forget his name in general, so I apologize because we still don't know anything about this character, but Tatsu May is the one that's actually in the defending the base right now. So he calls Tatsu May up and asks them to look into it right away. I was like, okay, so you're asking his help, but you know what happens if the killer is Tatsu May? I'm just saying, what if it's Tatsu May? What if it's not Samore? What if it's someone you know? What if, big what if it, just putting it out there, is Hoshimaru? We don't know, but it's kind of freaking scary, because if it's someone part of the Kasurabi clan, just putting it out there, that's kind of, you know, you're kind of screwed. Because if you, I can't do this anymore. Moving on. We do see a different scene, obviously, with again, Salmon granting the wish, but it gets a little different because Yoshino starts praising Muoharo at one point in time. It's kind of like a two-part WTF. First he's praising Muoharo for pulling this off. Then he's calling it a tragedy because he can't believe you're still selling out Hokays. She's not even dead yet in her past, and you're killing her now by not helping her. And he doesn't want another tragedy on his hands. So now we've got another character turning around. Are you serious? This is like messing with you so majorly right now. Are you kidding me? So we're taking to a different scene, and Yoshino's kind of updating Hokays and everything. He goes in the little puddle of water, grabs his communicator, or I should say Muoharo's talisman, which is the communicator, which is now in the water, picks it up, and he starts telling Hokays about everything. And I don't know, he was trying to be nice, I guess, but I thought Yoshino was going to give everything up, because he looked like he was going to, until we saw Muoharo do like a complete turnaround and just throw everything away. But sorry, I digress. Moving on. He is making this not a deal with Hokays in general, but Hokay starts talking about Hamlet, because Muoharo does Hamlet. So it just doesn't make sense what's really freaking going on right now. She's just quoting Hamlet, Shakespeare. And it clicks in Yoshino's mind. He's like, where have I heard that before? Certain parts from Hamlet or something along those lines. So we're taken to a flashback. He sees Aki, Muoharo's sister, and she's quoting Hamlet. She's quoting Shakespeare. And we're to the point where we don't want to hear Hamlet anymore. So she starts quoting stuff. Starts talking about Tempest, another work from Shakespeare. And you're like, wait, isn't the name of this anime series Blast of Tempest? So, how does his sister, Muoharo's sister, know about the Tempest? I mean, she knew about Hamlet, that's nice, but she knew about more of Shakespeare's works such as Tempest, but what relevance does it have right now? How did she know about Tempest? If you think about it, Tempest was generally about revenge, an island, and a mage, which was just pointed out. So it fits right into this story. Does she have magical powers or something? Sorry, I'm just putting that out there. It's like, how did you know? Now, I don't really know what this means for Yoshino, but stuff starts to click in his mind. And then out of nowhere, Yoshino just snaps. He has his talismans out, he puts them back on, the necklace, and now it's Yoshino versus Muoharo? What? I thought Muoharo just made a deal with Salmon, but now Yoshino is turning on Muoharo? He's trying to take the gun back, the talisman that Muoharo has. Now he has, remember those flashbang grenades that he got from the assistant director. So I thought this was kind of interesting, what's going to happen. So he uses two of them, and then we see Salmon jump in, because he doesn't know what the hell's happening. He thought he had to deal with Muoharo, so he pulls out his sword and attacks Yoshino. And then Muoharo jumps in and blocks blocks Salmon? What? This is like a triangle of what? I'm sorry, this is just crazy. Because you see Muoharo sticking up for Yoshino, even though Yoshino is trying to take the gun away from Muoharo, and Salmon is just, I had to deal with one of these guys, and the other guy, he's trying to break this kind of deal. It makes sense when you see it from a distance, but it's just, if you were one of the characters, this is kind of, okay, so what side am I on? It's just very messed up. But moving on past that, we see actually, I guess Yamamoto, she's back. Yeah, she's in it now. And she actually has magic. First, Natsamore? Really? I didn't see this battle even coming. This was definitely a, what? And now she's basically proficient in using this magic, the talismans that she has. She's got a spear. So now you've got two fighters with spears, Natsamore versus Yamamoto. And I was like, where is this going to go? Spear versus spear. And then we find out Miss Yamamoto, she points out well, we may not be able to attack each other offensively, but we can repel. It's like, aha, she found a way to fight him on equal terms. So this is going to be interesting. Now, Natsumori, you better not hurt us, you know? You better kick her butt. You better not let us down. Come on, man. You've been cool throughout this episode, throughout this series, regardless of being defeated once already and slightly bruised by Yoshino and Muahara by their little trick. But regardless of that, you better win, okay? Mrs. Yamamoto is an SOB. I just don't like her. She's amazing. She looks adorable. Well, not adorable, you know, in a mature sense. But she's got to go down. Bitches got to go down, plain and simple. But moving on. Sorry, I don't want to get too caught up in that. We're taken back to Yoshino. And he turns the tables. I'm sorry, he does turn the tables. He basically tells Muahara, what if we could save Hokage? The what if scenario. What if we could save her? He's like, I don't care. Regardless, I'm still gonna... I need to find the killer of my sister regardless, so I don't care. But then he makes it more interesting. He puts a deal that you can't say no to. Muahara could not say no to this. This is what Yoshino pulls out the table. I can tell you your sister's boyfriend's name. I can rat him out. And Muahara's like, what? Okay. Man, this guy's whipped. I'm like, really? That's all it took? So we could have just avoided this whole little confrontation if he would have pulled this out sooner? So yeah, it does work. Muahara agrees to it. And Salmon's like, oh no, we got a deal here. But Muahara's like, okay, this works out in my favor. Put it this way, it works out in my favor regardless. If Yoshino, you know, can't figure a way to save Hokage, well then, guess what, Salmon? You're gonna provide me with the killer regardless of, you know, who killed my sister, you know? So it doesn't matter. It's a win-win situation for Muahara. Either Yoshino is wrong and he can't save Hokage, which in case, you know, Muahara wins because he still gets to find out the killer of, you know, his sister. But, you know, if we can save Hokage, then that's a plus in one book. At the same time, he gets to find out Yoshino is his sister's boyfriend. Wow, isn't that a bitch? And Salmon's like, comes up with the perfect scenario in general. He's gonna go over and, you know, find the killer and bring him to the table. So he's okay with what's happening in this little fucking triangle. So right now we have a timetable. Apparently Yoshino has until Salmon brings the killer forward. The moment the killer is forward and Yoshino can't save Hokage, that's it. But Salmon felt a little distracted because he actually thinks Yoshino has found a way or can find a way to save Hokage because she is in a different dimension and she is in the past. So it's kind of interesting to see where this is going to go. Now we do end this episode with him coming up with a theory. So Yoshino does have a theory, but again, that's where the episode ends. Final thoughts? Well, I'm curious, Yoshino, what's your theory? And how risky is it, and is there a catch? We don't know. Now, as for Salmon trying to find the killer that actually took out Muahara's sister, now we know it's a guy. Obviously, we know it's being referred to as a guy, so we know it's a male. Who is it, though? We know it's someone part of the Kasarabi clan. Is it Tatsu May, maybe? Is it maybe Hoshimaru or Natsumaru? That would be kind of, you know, what? Yeah, Hashimaru versus Natsumaru. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. You got possibilities. I mean, I don't know. And Hokage, are you ever going to be back? Are you going to be able to stay alive? I don't know how to do a final thought around that. I mean, you're dead, but you're alive. You're in the past. You're in a different dimension. How can you actually come to the present or survive to last until the present? And since you are in the past, if you can get off the island, can't you just save Muahara's sister in general from this whole freaking triangle thing? Just a little peace of mind there. But again, that's just final thoughts. Now, moving on to my final rating, I have to give this a 4 out of 5. Now, I'm not going to say there was romance involved because we did see Muahara's sister, and, you know, with Yoshino, that was a flashback. There wasn't a lot of romance involved. But fighting? Oh dear God, we saw a lot of fighting. I mean, it's just getting started, but the lineup already is freaking amazing, so I have to give this a 4 out of 5 regardless of it. So, 4 out of 5. Now, pushing past that, do we get a lot of information? No. I'm being honest, we didn't get any information at all. We had a lot of traps that were set up, and we have a triangle, someone fighting someone, fighting someone, fighting someone. That's interesting, definitely, but that wasn't information. More or less, we're seeing deals being arranged, and we're about to find out the theory that Yoshino has that could save Hokage, but it wasn't told, so that's next episode. So again, I have to give this a 4 out of 5. Now, if we would have got to see more battling, more fights, and maybe to hear that theory, that would have been a 4.5 out of 5. But no, I have to give this a, where credit is due, obviously, I have to give this a 4 out of 5. But again, that ends it for my final rating, and definitely thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe above. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the next episode that's coming up. And again, check me out on Twitter and follow me if you want. But definitely comment down below and let me know what you thought about this. But again, that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Blast of Tempest episode 9. And again, that ends it for today, and I should be on Skype for a little bit before I go to sleep, because I am definitely exhausted right now. But again, that ends it for now, and before I go, I gotta say it, can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.